Good afternoon, everyone, and wow, again, what a turnout. I love this place. You know, I mean, Liverpool is so unique. I don't get as many boos here as I do in most cities. And all right. And it's like one of those places. Where else are you going to get in a lift with some bloke coming up and says, "Oh, you're Barry's lad"? I said, "Yeah, thanks, mate." He goes, "Top man, your old fella." I went, "All right, cheers." I don't know about you, but you know, your old man's a top fella, and you're all in here, and we're delighted to be here. I never thought that I'd sit next to this man to my right. Wanted him for about 3 or 4 years, but finally Liam Smith is where he should be with us at Matchroom and Sky, and we're delighted to announce a major show on March the 30th. What used to be the Echo Arena, now the M&S Bank Arena, same place, same wonderful venue, same great city. And I think one of the best cards we've put on in Liverpool for a long, long time. 3 really, really good championship fights on the top table, and on the table down here, so many quality young fighters, big heavyweights making a resurgence on the British and world scene, female fighters coming through, looking to challenge for world titles, GB fighters starting their career as well. And like I said, on this top table, I think 3 brilliant domestic matchups that we're going to talk about very, very shortly. First, we're going to kick off with Tom Hart. Tom, welcome, your professional debut, March the 30th in the M&S Bank Arena. Obviously, we know you from the GB podium squad. Tony Bellew's been banging my door down about you to get you on ASAP, and you're doing that, and a great platform, a great show to start your professional career on March 30th.
Yeah, just looking forward to it. Now I've had a good amateur career, so looking forward to getting the show on the road and the professionals, starting on such a good platform with Matchroom and Sky Sports and things.
What made you make that turn, that jump now? Obviously you're part of the GB setup, which is, you know, I mean, probably the best job you can have. The setup there is fantastic. Obviously you've got the funding, but you feel now, particularly looking at the British light heavyweight scene, this is a great time to turn pro.
Yeah, it's a lot of good domestic light heavyweights out there, so looking forward. I think my stars a lot suited better to the pro game than it is the amateur, so looking forward to doing that now.
Jed, welcome back. Been on many of our shows now. Probably about a year ago said that you were closing in on fighting for domestic titles. I think that's definitely on the agenda for 2019. But again, part of a big show in Liverpool on March 30th.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be back on such a big show. Hopefully this year, this will just be a kickstart to, you know, a big year for me, and hopefully try and make it to the top table next time.
I know that I was reading one of your interviews, I think with the Fight Disciples, talking about, you know, working 10-hour days with the ambulance service and the medical service as well. What is the plan for 2019? I was fascinated by that, how you managed to manage those 2 lifestyles. It's about, you know, turning over full-time, if you like, as you move to championship fights. How are you going to manage that?
Yeah, and hopefully a big sponsor will come on board and obviously back me, but...
Is Jed Carroll sponsoring it? No? You tight bastard. Go on, carry on, mate.
Where to try me. No, it's just more about, obviously, until I am in them bigger fights and I can afford to concentrate full time, I just got to do what I've got to do and work.
Tom, welcome back, welcome back. You know, always one of the most popular ticket sellers and fighters on these cards in Liverpool. Again, for you in 2019, moving back to a challenge for a title, hopefully actually on this show as well, working on an opponent with Steve Wood now. And I think a real make or break year for you in terms of those big domestic titles. One fight you'll be looking at closely, obviously in the same division, is the British and European Championship fight between Davis and Hughes as well.
Yeah, as you said there, hopefully get a title shot for this one. I think we're looking at maybe a shot at the Commonwealth or an international title. Because then up there, I've got most of the titles at my weight at the minute. So yeah, wasn't it a great year for me last year? It was a bit frustrating in terms of boxing, and I was hopefully going to try and get straight back into title contention, but it didn't really happen. But I've been patient and, you know, I've stayed in the gym. I haven't really been out the gym at all, and I'm feeling good, feeling fit, feeling strong already. It's only early part of camp. Got a fight on the 23rd of Feb, get me back in there, get the rust off, and then I'm full steam ahead, then ready for the 30th, and I can't wait. It's going to be a great show. Hoping to have an opponent named soon, as you said, and, you know, push on and be a big night of boxing, all the lads on the show. As you can see, I think this is busier than when I'm here can boxing. That was a chopper one, so looking forward to the night, and yeah, I'll definitely have a belt around my waist.
Thanks, Tom. A young fighter that he's really impressed me lately, and I remember seeing his shock defeat when he started out his pro career at the O2 Arena early on in his quest. Come back brilliantly from that defeat, had a brilliant win against Simon Vallily on our Newcastle show at the end of last year, and I think he's a top contender for the domestic cruiserweight scene. Craig Glover, again, Tony Bellew busting my nuts to get you on the card, and I'm happy to have you on the card because that was a great win on foreign soil, if you like, up in Newcastle against Vallily, and now looking for major domestic cruiserweight titles in 2019.
Yeah, I think in my last fight I showed a lot what I was about. Vallily underestimated me, seeing that I lost early, and but I think now whoever steps in the ring with me will know I'm real, and they won't underestimate me.
Obviously, coming back from that defeat, you learned so much in that, but you've had a lot of easy wins since then. The Vallily fight was, a fight that went very, very deep. How much did you take from that fight and learn from that fight? And how ready are you, do you believe, for the likes of that domestic scene now? Coley, Chamberlain, Camacho, all those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of early stoppages, but I always believed in myself, and I knew I could put out a performance like that. So it wasn't really a surprise for me, but I think it was more showing everyone that I'm there, I'm at that level, and I think moving forward I'm ready.
Good stuff. We look forward to your fight on March 30th. On to the heavyweights, Big David Price, first time fighting in Liverpool for nearly 3 years. You get a lot of people talking about he's having another chance, he's doing this, he's doing that. When you look at his career recently, the fights that he's jumped into, particularly some at late notice, are all at extreme world level. The fight against Alexander Povetkin, which he was doing very well in, I might add as well. Povetkin I rate as one of the potentially top 5 heavyweights in the world. He jumped into the Kuzmin fight with a couple of weeks' notice as well, and was winning that fight until his body couldn't go on because he, quite frankly, wasn't ready for that fight. Came back with a good solid win against Tom Little. His opponent will be announced this week as well, but I have to say that I think David Price is one of the most entertaining heavyweights out there, and I also think he's one of the most dangerous heavyweights out there, and I also think he's one of the nicest blokes in the sport, and he's from Liverpool. So for me, this was an absolute no-brainer to bring him onto this card, and it's not a novelty to stick David Price on the card. I truly believe that he can clean up at this domestic level, certainly, and rebuild and step up into big fights. In this division, you are only one win away from being in a major fight. And he has the attributes in those major fights to win them. He is, I think, the hardest punching heavyweight, potentially in the world. So he always has a chance to win these big fights. And he's 1 or 2 wins away from the likes of, Adam Konaki, or Jarrell Miller, or Dillian White, or all these contenders that then he's capable of being very competitive in those fights. So I'm looking forward to him being in a good fight on March 30th and giving him a shot to be involved in something major this summer. So Pricey, welcome back. Good to introduce you off a win and a good performance from you at the O2. Looking forward to boxing in Liverpool for the first time in a long time on March 30th.
I am, Eddie. You've just done a great job of promoting me there, by the way. You've done a brilliant better yourself. I appreciate that. The hardest thing for me with this show at the M&S Arena is to stop calling it the Echo Arena. It's going to be hard for all of us to stop saying it's in the Echo. I still call it Snickers a marathon, so I'm going to struggle. But, do you know what? I'm looking forward to it. It's 10 years to the weekend since it's going. I haven't even had 30 fights yet, so as much as I get people saying, time to pack in time, I haven't got much mileage on the clock, that's the truth. I've had 6 stoppage defeats, 2 of them have been genuine knockout defeats. The other 4, I've kind of beat myself, and the older I'm getting, the wiser I'm getting, the more mature. I do still believe my best years are yet to come. And I haven't got many years left, but I am looking after myself. I'm living the life. And with maturity, people always do say the heavyweight's too mature later. So, you know, I do believe that now really could be where I do perform to my best. And I'm not saying world titles, world championship, you know, world title fights. But like Eddie said then, there's that many names in the division, big names who all need times partners. And there's no reason why I can't throw myself right in the mix with it, with a couple more wins. So the opportunity's here to do it, and I appreciate it greatly. And I intend on delivering on March the 30th.
You talk about that maturity and that knowledge. You've had so many ups and downs. You've been involved in all kinds of different environments and experiences. Do you look at that now almost as an outsider and see these young guys coming through and know that you have the experience that perhaps they don't?
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, when I turned pro, I was an Olympic medalist anyway, so you've got that pedigree, you've got that background, you can be fast-tracked a little bit, and things did get fast-tracked, and then I hit a wall. And then the next few years were probably where I did pick up that experience, and in losing you can pick up massive experience. And so I've lost 6 times, so I'm not experienced of losing, I never will be, you know. But the experience comes from being defeated, being at your lowest, and knowing how to deal with it. And I think my perseverance is going to pay off. 18 months ago, I've just spoke to someone on the phone then, and he said, how would you evaluate last year? The results aside, it was a great year. We had 2 massive fights on massive shows, which we may never see the like of again in our lifetime. Sold out shows at Wembley, 90,000 people in Cardiff. And I was part of that. And 18 months ago, that was just weren't going to happen because it was under scrappy. So I've been given 2 gifted opportunities. The results didn't go my way, but I ended the year on a win, and that's opened this year. I've come into this year really positive because it's a promising year ahead for me.
Thanks, Dave. Look forward to seeing you on the card, and we'll announce his opponent in the next 48 hours. 10-round championship fight for David Price as well. Up on this top table, you have 3 brilliant matchups. I don't know where to start, but I'm going to start with the British and European Super Lightweight Championship. I think that what's happened with boxing is that with the demand of the fans and the interaction on social media, promoters, TV networks, and particularly fighters just aren't willing to take those easy touches because fans don't want to see it. And when you look at Robbie Davies Jr. and Joe Hughes, 2 guys that fully deserve 2 nice defences, if you like. Robbie Davies won the British title against Glenfoot on away soil, you know, like Craig Glover was on the same show. You'd think that a nice little homecoming defence for Robbie would be nice. Joe Hughes went out to Italy, to our Matchroom Boxing Italy show, and captured the European title against Massimo Scarpa. Again, you'd think that he deserves a nice little defence before he goes into a big fight like this. Both these guys were offered the fight, both these guys accepted this fight instantly. It's a British and European unification fight between 2 very good super lightweights in a brilliant super lightweight division, headed, of course, by our world champion, Maurice Hooker, the WBO world champion. And both these guys, victory on March 30th, put themselves right in running for a potential fight with Hooker later on in the year. Joe, start with you. Just a brilliant story for you coming through and winning that European title. And again, no easy fight, straight into a brilliant fight with Robbie Davies Jr.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be going into such a big fight. In the past, I've found myself get a bit complacent if I'm not really up for the fight, if it's not too much of a challenge to me. And I know this one's going to be a real big challenge. Obviously defending my European title, and it's a real motivation for me as well to pick up that Lonsdale belt. And I'm really excited to be on such a big show and be where I feel I should be. And yeah, really looking forward to it.
It's amazing how careers can spin so quickly. Obviously, most of your fights have been on the smaller shows. You challenged for the European title abroad in the past, and straight away, you know, within the matter of getting that European title fight, winning that, fighting for the British on a major championship fight in a big arena. Really now talking about the likes of potentially moving forward to a world championship shot if you can beat Robbie Davies Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, I was on a lot of small shows, trying to shift tickets, and coming from a small place was a bit of a struggle.
Keep doing that, by the way.
Yeah, I keep trying, but yeah, trying to do that on the small shows was hard. And then obviously travelling away, always being the opponent on different shows. On the bigger shows, I was always the opponent. And yeah, this time when the European title challenge came up, obviously took it with both hands over in Italy, which was quite a task, but I enjoyed it and was well up for it. And it's nice to be, I mean, I'm the away fighter again, I suppose, in terms of location, but at least we're in England this time, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Good. Robbie, again, talk about careers sort of changing paths. You know, you had that defeat not so long ago, and I remember watching that fight, just being shocked by the defeat. You bounced back so well, got the rematch, won that fight, won the British title, now on the verge of winning the European title as well. I know these are the kind of nights that you've wanted for a long, long time.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to my defeat, obviously, everyone that knows me knows what I was going through at the time. It's a hard time in my life. But since then, I felt like I've rebuilt, and I've luckily enough joined with Matchroom, and taking that first fight down in North East and beating Glenford for the British was a real big step in my career. And I could have, like Eddie was saying, just went for an easy British title defence or something like that, but we knew that my career stagnated for quite some time in the past, and I've stayed at the same level for quite a bit. And I think I was the first person that tweeted when the decision was made for Joe. I thought, I've got to get my name in there straight away, because Eddie might be looking for someone else in the mix, like Tommy Coyle, Burns, anyone for that European. So straight away I let them know that I wanted the European. I think I did private message you, but you blanked me on the night. Yeah, but
it was noted.
Yeah, but like I made sure that I had my name in contention for this fight, and to get it in Liverpool. Like, I've been at these shows for years. Like, every one of you will have probably seen me just bunking in, but off to Fowler or Jed, trying to on one of their managers and getting the free tickets into the back. And we've never been to Bayou. And since then, I've always wanted to be on these shows, and I've always felt like I was a piece of old furniture that's just sitting in the corner, it's not getting used. And to come back to Liverpool and be on such a show and be one of the main fights on the card, it's massive for me as a boxer, and things I've always wanted in my life as a career-wise. To look back and say I was a part of this, and it's really something to me, and I'm just looking forward to it now. I know what a good fighter Joe is. I've watched him over the years through the amateurs. I've seen his accomplishments as a professional. I know he's a good fighter, so it really gives me that grit in my teeth to push on to the next level and do what I need to do, get up early, do them early morning runs, because sometimes you can get them opponents and you can become lackadaisy and skip things in your training camp. The diet doesn't go as well as it should have. But every fight now, I know I need to progress, and like Eddie said, I know I want to be in contention for one of them world title shots. So this is every fight for me now is a must win.
Obviously, Joe talks about being the away fighter, which is sometimes hard, but for you, there will be 7,000-8,000 in this arena expected to sell this show out. How are you going to compose yourself in that kind of atmosphere? Something that you've never really been around before. Do you think you'll thrive off that, or do you feel the pressure yourself fighting at home?
I get more nervous for these press conferences than I do for fighting, to be honest. But I've always wanted to be part of it, and I think the bigger the atmosphere, the bigger the occasion, the more I'll rise to the occasion. These are the sort of nights I've been wanting for so long, so I'm not going to shy away from the opportunity now, and I'm going to take it with both hands.
Thanks, Robbie. British and European Super Lightweight Championship. Joe Hughes, European champion against Robbie Davis Jr., the British champion. Great fight for the card. When you talk about great fights for the card, and going back to what I just said about people taking risks now and giving you the fights that you want, Scott Fitzgerald against Anthony Fowler is just a classic example of that. 2 years ago, even a year ago, these fights just wouldn't get made at this time. You have two very good young light middleweights on a great domestic scene who both believe they can win this fight, both know that if they do win this fight, they're going to be involved in massive fights, potential fights with British and European champion if he wins on February 2nd, Ted Cheeseman, even bigger fights on the world scene as well. You've got Anthony Fowler from Liverpool, you've got Scott Fitzgerald from Preston, both big ticket sellers. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere for this fight. Firstly, Scott, you took this fight with both hands. Everybody seems to want it and you obliged. just a brilliant fight and a very tough fight for both of you.
Yeah, cheers Eddie. Yeah, it's a fight that I'm really looking forward to. I always knew this fight was going to happen, to be honest, and you know, I'm the underdog going into this fight, which is fine by me. You know, every day I'm waking up really motivated. I'm grafting at least 2, maybe 3 times a day, recovering and resting right, and I'm going to be, no one's going to be ever seen the Scott Fitzgerald that turns up to this night.
Obviously, both Team GB members, both Commonwealth Games gold medalists as well. When you were back there in Sheffield, did you ever think to yourself that one day you might be fighting Fowler as a pro?
Well, from the day I fought him as an amateur, I was maybe 16, so about 10, 11 years ago, and he beat me easily. And I always, from that moment, knew I wanted, you know, anyone I've lost to in the amateurs, if it can be made, I'd like to fight in the pro. So, you know, I was after this fight as soon as it got said. But my last fight, I broke my hand, and I think this fight was meant to happen before the end of last year, and I think it's worked out that way for a reason, because I've took that time, and I feel like I've turned 27 and finally actually grown up, matured, and every day I'm doing exactly what has to be done, and that's not just in the gym. I'm coming home, I'm eating the right things and enjoying doing it, because I don't want to lose this fight so much. I want to win it, and I know I can win it, and I know what doors I'll bash down when I do win it, so I'll be giving it everything. Like I say, you have never seen this version of me before.
It's interesting, it's like, you know, all these young fighters come through, but you never really know until they step up into, you know, that stage. And you've got experienced guys up here, Pricey, Sam, Liam, you know, they look at a lot of you young guys and they say, wait, it's going to get tougher.
Yeah, no,
and it hasn't been, although it was fairly tough for you in your last fight, you broke your hand, but this really, we don't know.
This is the big one now, isn't it? Yeah, and you know, like you mentioned before you even introduced me, saying, oh, these boys deserve a lot of credit for taking this risk, but I don't understand why I want to wait around and beat easy fights and just keep an O on my record. I want to go and fight and find out what I can do, and this is where I'll find out for the first time what I can do. I'll make sure the best of me is there, so I have no regrets.
You see a lot of side beef, if you like, between Cheeseman and Fowler. You know, Cheeseman fighting for the British and European title at the O2 on February 2nd.
Yeah.
People automatically talking about Fowler and Cheeseman and those two interacting as well. Do you feel as though that they might be overlooking you slightly in this fight, or are you happy for that to take place?
If they're overlooking me, then they're stupid. I don't think he will be overlooking me. If Cheeseman's saying stuff to him on Twitter, he's got to reply. You know, I keep a bit quiet on the social media, but if someone says it to me, I'll reply. And you know, they're more busy on it, so I haven't even been looking at what they've been saying, to be honest. But I have people coming over and going, I was overlooking you, innit? I'm thinking, no, he's just arguing with someone on Twitter. He's saying something to him, he's got to, hasn't he? You know, otherwise he'll look a bit stupid. But you know, I don't think he'll overlook me. He'll be really stupid if he does. I know how he trains, he'll come fit, and I'll make sure I come as fit, if not fitter, so I can go all night, whatever first.
And finally, going to be massive support down for Preston. We've seen the support you get even for, you know, 6 and 8 rounders in the same arena before. It's
this is going to be a whole different thing. I'm going to do, you know, at least 1,000, maybe more tickets. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much gone now. So now it's a big fight. When I was finishing up in the amateurs, I had big crowds come and follow me. It was great. And through the pros, when you know you're fighting the learning fights, people aren't, you know, they aren't as interested. They still come and support when they can. But this one, every single man and his dog and his mate's dog want a ticket for this. So.
I said finally, but I will just say, you two, both big punchers, you know, both sometimes like to get involved in trade-offs and deep waters. It's going to be an electric fight.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'll be going there, like I said, the very best and ready for anything, ready for however long it goes to do anything in that fight, and I'm very confident I'll win the fight, so I look forward to it.
Anthony, you know, you and Dave Caldwell choosing to move very quickly in the pro ranks. You've got your sights set on big things, but firstly, this is a tough test. I know you've always got extreme confidence, but first fight in your career, really, where you've got a guy who really has desire and will come to win in this fight.
Yeah, that's basically what I want, like my coach, and I work very, very
I'd just like, for anyone who doesn't know what just happened in front of the cameras, our head of social media, Scott, well, who was it? Are you sure? Who was it? Are you sure? Who was that? Who was it? Come on. Come on. Mundo. The Ring Magazine. Well, round of applause for Callum Smith. Ring Magazine. He's been done with one of those, you know, the ones that they do. It's hard to understand, Fowler. I thought he'd told a joke or something. Fowler, back to you anyway. You want those challenges, you want to move quickly, and this is a fight you can really get your teeth into.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was saying before I interrupted by Callum. Yeah, me and my coach work very hard day in, day out, and like, he's got very high standards, and in my fight so far, I haven't really showed nothing because I went out, hit them with a few stiff jabs, they thought I'd have won on this, and went to his shell, and I've had to just close them down, whereas when Scott's throwing shots back at me, you're going to see like when I'm working in the gym, and so I'm really, really excited.
Your confidence levels are on another level. I mean, you know, you're probably, I suppose you're a bit like Marmot, you're not like everyone's cup of tea, but what we see is someone that has massive, massive desire, someone that dedicates himself day in, day out to be the very, very best. And I think people are starting to see that about you as well now, but you do have a massive confidence going into this fight. Do you get that confidence from the amateur days? Do you get it from where you are now? Do you get it from Scott's performances? What tells you that you have no doubt in your mind you win this fight on March 30th?
Well, for example, Scott's has been saying that for 10 weeks, he's trained twice a day. I've been doing this for 15 years, twice a day, eating right, training hard. I always work very, very hard, and I always put 100% into everything I do. And my confidence comes from my belief that I've got and my results reflect the belief. Like, I've been sparring world champions in the gym. I was sparring Carl Froch for the Groves fight. No one knew who I was back then, but Carl was singing me praises because I was matching Carl in every department, strength, speed, all around. I was doing great with him, do you know what I mean? So it isn't just like me being deluded and thinking I'm this and that. Like, after me in the gym, behind closed doors, I know that means nothing, and big gloves and egg guards, but I just know what I'm capable of, and I know that come this night, I'm going to show that I'm a level above Scott, and I know for a fact I am. I always have been, since I was an amateur, I was always better than Scott. And under Dave, who's a brilliant coach, I've just gone to that next level again, which I haven't showed just yet because it's been too easy. Like, we've been saying to you, we want proper fights since about a year ago, as you know, but this has took a long time to materialise, and it's better for me and worse for Scott.
I talked about that side beef, if you like, with Cheeseman, but how important is it to keep your eyes on this, or you looking through Scott Fitzgerald? I know you don't overlook him, but you're looking through him, and you talk about Cheeseman and other fights in the division as well. But like I said, the first real test for you.
Yeah, you can't look through past no one, mate. A journeyman can put you to sleep in them little gloves, mate. You go out there with a mindset that, oh, this will be easy. Anyone can knock it out. Anyone can be hurt. If you don't think that, you're an idiot. Because them tenements does, mate. Yeah, we get it. And I'm a professional in and out the ring. We coaches so professional. We won't overlook no one. I'll be there fully ready, mate. I'll be 11 stone on the dot. I'll be fully prepared for anything. Whatever Scott does, I've got to answer for it because I'm just a bigger, better, stronger fighter.
And finally, he's going to be bringing a huge coach load, truckload coming down the motorway to Liverpool. I know he'll do his 1,000 tickets, like he says. You're going to have big support in the arena as well. Big pressure on you in this fight because of your confidence as well. How much are you keen to perform in there, and how much are you excited to perform in front of all those fans on this card in this arena against Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah, I'll have loads of fans there, but I couldn't care as long as me and Dave are there. We're ready, whatever he brings, and the better man will win the night, and that will show.
Finally, the pair of you, predictions for the night. I know you may not want to give one, but I don't see this fight going the distance. Scott, do you feel the same way?
Just predict me winning.
By any means?
Yeah, whichever way.
Anthony?
5 rounds, he's going to fall.
No. We'll see.
We will see, because I tell you, it's a brilliant fight. And I have to say, we represent both guys. Massive respect for both of you for taking this fight. I do believe it's the right fight for you both to take, but it is extremely risky, and I think you deserve a lot of credit for both taking this fight at this stage in your career. Talking about great fights, if you've ever seen the spars between Liam Smith and Sam Eggington, then you do not want to miss March 30th at M&S Bank Arena. You've got two guys, one guy who's trying to get to world level, had his defeats in the past, one guy who is proven to be world level, former world champion as well, been involved in some great fights, only 2 defeats to the very, very best Canelo and Jamie Munguia, who is proving to be one of the best light middleweights we've seen for a long time, great young fighter. And again, comes back to a big domestic fight where Sam Eggington has absolutely everything to gain in this fight. I think Sam Eggington's career has been incredible. You know, came into the game, really had plans to start off as a journeyman. Just loved to have a war. He couldn't be a journeyman. He improved under John Pegg. He went and won British, European titles as well. He's had ups and downs. And again, like Pricey, has had so much experience at the top level. That experience can pay dividends, but against him is someone that has plenty of experience as well. Sam, again, we always know you want the big fights and another one to get your teeth into. You guys have spent plenty of time in the ring with some unbelievable spars. How excited are you in this? It's Liverpool against Birmingham. We talk about people coming from Preston. There's going to be massive crowds coming up from Birmingham as well. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, like you say, we've done a bit of sparring before, and it's always been good competitive sparring. You know, I respect Liam massively. You know, I wouldn't call him out for that simple reason. But I'm in no position to turn down fights at the minute. They've offered me Liam, and you know, I've took it with both hands, and I'll work towards it, and I'll come as fit and as ready as I can.
Your career, like I said, has been massive ups and downs. You know, to win the British title with some great performances, beating Paulie Malignaggi, losing to Bradley Skeet, coming back, winning the European title, getting beaten in a fight that you shouldn't have got beaten in. You learned so much in this fight. You really feel like, with all your experience, that you're prepared for a night like this, for an occasion like this, and for a fight like this as well.
Yeah, like you say, I have had a lot of experiences in boxing. I mean, losing does learn you as much as winning. You know, like Price said, you know, no one wants to lose, but you will learn stuff, you know, in that. But yeah, I've got all the experience in the world. I'm just gonna, you know, try and put it all together, you know, and turn up on the night and, you know, and win.
Finally, the pressure really isn't on you in this fight. You know, obviously Liam's joined the team. People are talking about Liam going on, fighting in America, challenging for big world titles as well. You know what a win can do for your career on March the 30th, and the plan is to come up really on the blind side and surprise everyone in this fight.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've got nothing to lose in this fight. I mean, you know, it's not a secret. You know, the last fight didn't go great at all. So I've literally come up. You know, I'm buzzing with this fight. I didn't expect any sort of fight like this. So to get someone like Liam Smith, a former world champion, like I say, I have got no pressure. I'm just going to put the work in, you know, and come up on the blind side and get a win that no one's going to expect.
And obviously, you've seen the spars, you've been in the spars.
Yeah.
What should we expect on March 30th, having shared the ring with him before?
Like I say, they've always been good competitive spars. You know, we probably could have sold tickets for a few of them on their own. So, you know, come March 30th, it will be, a fight not to miss.
Liam, welcome. It's been a long time coming. Some ups and downs for you as well in the last couple of years. Been involved in some massive fights as well. And now, after many, many years, returning to the Echo M&S Bank Arena for a massive night on Sky Sports.
Yeah, just I'm like a kid at Christmas at the minute. I can go on all night about the highs I'm having at the moment. Obviously, I think this has been a long time coming with yourself on Matchroom. And then I feel like I'm making my debut all over again. It's in Liverpool, which is another added incentive. A top bill with all the people on these two tables. I think, you know every one of them personally. I think I've probably sparred 5 of them. And it looks it's going to be a good show. And I feel at this stage in my career, you're the best person to take me forward now. And you probably have been for a while, but it's, I'm in a vital part of my career now. And I think Sam's a good opponent to get started with. He's, wanting some big southpaw coming for my first fight under you. I've got to put in a performance that makes you think you're right inside of me at this stage. So on that note, I feel it's a bad part of Sam to take the fight at this moment.
So when you talk about those losses, obviously the Canelo fight, we all know how good Canelo is. You hung in there with him for a long, long time. That was a great experience with you. Munguia as well, we had a great fight with him on HBO as well. Is this the fight where you want to go out, make a statement, and then move straight back into those kind of fights straight away?
Yeah, definitely. Them two fights is probably like night and day for me. Obviously, the Canelo fight, we all know how good he is. He was 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of me everything that's hard, but I'll stay in there and tough it out with anyone if necessary and if I can do. But the Munguia fight, I just feel the momentum killed me. I had 1 fight in 10 months. He had 5 fights in 2018, and in that fight, I feel he was very, very green, and he was just weren't experienced, and things I could try early doors was just coming off, and then obviously he kicked in, and I started to fade towards the back end. He didn't. That's a fight I would definitely love again down the line with momentum, but that's a big part of signing for Matchroom. I feel they've got enough dates, they've got enough pull around the world now to keep me busy, and obviously the Sam fight first, and I think it's a great fight, a great opponent wise for me stylistically. We know what he brings, he loves a fight, he's going to come. Because it's me, you'll have that little bit more of everything, you'll have that little bit more balls, you'll have that little bit more fire in his belly to win, and a win puts him back where I think I want to go, so we'll be prepared, and I know Sam.
We know you love a tear-up, you love a scrap as well, and having shared those rounds with Sam, even without sharing those rounds, you just watch Sam Eggington's career, you know how exciting this fight's going to be. You see that same kind of excitement that everybody else sees about this fight and the action that it's going to bring.
Yeah, no matter how the fight will go, the fight's going to be a good fight. Sam comes, he doesn't bring no awkwardness, he's not coming to make it an awkward night for myself, and vice versa. We're not going to stand in the ring and hold each other and look for rests and look for being a bad night. We both like a fight, and I just feel I'm executed in everything I do.
Thanks, Liam. I can't wait for that one. Liam Smith against Sam Eggington. And I know that Natasha Jonas has joined us. Natasha, hello there. A bit late, but that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
And we're looking forward to having you back.
I was trying to work out who Natasha was.
Oh, sorry?
I was trying to work out who
Natasha. I'll blame Scott for that, but Natasha, obviously disappointment last year, but rebuilding, and in that time where women's boxing is just an unbelievable level. So looking forward to getting back to winning ways at the Echo Arena and trying to have a charge for titles in 2019.
Yeah, I think that's always been the plan from day one. I know I've got the skills. Like Anthony was saying before, it's fine doing it all in the gym, but you've got to produce it on the day. And I still don't feel like I have fully produced it on the day, but it's coming.
Obviously, suffering that defeat, we talked to other guys about how defeats are sort of maturing and making them learn so much about the game. I feel though in that defeat, you learned so much more than what probably 5 or 6 easy wins would have done for you in terms of experience and learning about what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of my biggest achievements have come after some of my worst failings, so I'm looking forward to getting back in and carrying on.
We look forward to seeing you part of a stat card on March the 30th again. This card is an unbelievable card from start to finish. These guys at the bottom, 3 major title fights on the top table as well. Fitzgerald against Fowler, Hughes against Robbie Davis Jr. and Liam Smith against Sam Eggington. Already saw it for pre-sale yesterday and general sale, which started at 12. This is going to be rammed out on March the 30th. And on a serious note, I love coming to Liverpool because nowadays we're averaging about 1 show a year in Liverpool. We used to do 2 or 3. And now I feel like we have an excuse to come back here more often. It's one of the best places to come, to visit, to eat, to enjoy yourself. And of course it's a fight city. So we wanted to produce a card that you can really get behind with a lot of local fights, local derbies, and I feel like we've got that. Preston, Liverpool, Bristol, Liverpool, Birmingham and Liverpool. It's got everything, this card, and we look forward to a cracking night on March the 30th. We're going to have 3 head-to-heads on the top table, and then all these guys are going to be available for the media to talk to. We look forward to a great night on March 30th. Thank you for your support and coming out today as always. Thank you.